Hello and welcome back to the MMA Bar. Today we're going to discuss one of the most entertaining fighters in the UFC, Sean O'Malley, his journey to and through the UFC, and everything you need to know about the man who labels himself as the next Conor McGregor. The always exciting Suga Sean O'Malley has been impressing UFC fans since he showed up in 2017 when he first debuted for the company. There are lots of reasons that MMA fans have gravitated toward the young fighter, many of which come from his unique style both in and out of the octagon and his incredible fight prowess. With one of the craftiest fighting styles in the bantamweight division, he has been on the rise and may challenge for the belt in the near future. While Suga Sean hasn't been able to obtain a title with the UFC as of 2022, that doesn't mean he hasn't turned quite a few heads. With 15 wins, 11 of which from knockout in his 16-fight MMA career and plenty of performance of the night honors, it's only a matter of time before he finds an opportunity for gold. But it is important that we discuss his beginning and how he has become one of the most talked about fighters in the UFC. Sean Daniel O'Malley, 27 years old, is an American professional mixed martial artist. He currently competes in the bantamweight division. Currently, he is ranked number 13 in the UFC bantamweight rankings. O'Malley trains in Glendale, Arizona at the MMA Lab led by head trainer John Crouch and is coached by his longtime friend Tim Welch. He was given the nickname Sugar by one of his MMA coaches in Montana early on in his career. One thing many don't know about Sean O'Malley is the UFC star is a high school dropout. O'Malley dropped out of high school midway through his sophomore year because he was tired of wasting his time. He then went on to what he called sort of a boot camp to obtain a GED, but was expelled after getting into a fight and enrolled in an alternative high school. O'Malley saw the world in black and white, and he didn't understand why he needed to fill his head with all of these things he'd forget the minute he walked out of the door. A friend introduced him to fighting, and he was instantly hooked and never wanted to do anything else. School, well, that was another story. I just didn't like school, you know, the 23-year-old said a few days before a featherweight fight on the main card of UFC. At that time in my mind, I thought, this is pointless. I don't like what we're learning. I thought it was a waste of time and thought I should have been doing something else. That something else was fighting, and he's turned into a sensation in an amazingly short time. And though he wasn't one for schoolwork, he learned something else about himself. Fighting taught him lessons he would never learn in a classroom. If I wasn't fighting, I have no idea what I'd be doing, he admits. But just the fact that I learned how to fight and I learned what it takes to get better and improve, I've realized that if it turned out I couldn't fight, I know now that I could get good at something else and I'd be able to make a career out of something else. Fighting taught me that, not school. Taking the fighting road, that's where I've learned the most. I learned to eat healthily, I learned how to treat my body right, I've learned how to do all of these things to just become a better person, so there's no doubt that fighting helped me more than school ever did, O'Malley said. Sean O'Malley started his combat sports journey in boxing. He trained in boxing for 2 years, and back in 2016, Sean faced off against David Courtney in what was his first professional boxing match. Sean managed to pick up the fight in dominant fashion via TKO, which has got many fans hoping to see him returning to boxing one day. With how dominant he is in the octagon, a switch to full-time boxing may not be a bad decision in the future. O'Malley started training in MMA alongside his boxing. He made his amateur debut at Fight Force Helena Havoc 11 against Stein Anderson. He won the fight via second-round TKO and then garnered an amateur record of 7-1 before turning professional. Sean made his professional MMA debut in 2015 at ICF 17 against John Reyes. O'Malley outclassed Reyes as he TKO'd him in the first round via punches. Sean continued his debut momentum and won his next 4 fights in the ICF. Following this, he fought and won a fight at Extreme Beatdown and Legacy Fighting Championship before fighting at Dana White's Contender Series. O'Malley fought his first 5 fights of his career in his native Montana, before leaving to fight in North Dakota and eventually fought for Legacy Fighting Alliance, where he got the highlight reel knockout over David Nuzzo. O'Malley still looks back at the knockout with as much pride today as he did the day it happened. While it was one of the easiest on the ice, the KO finish catapulted his career one step closer to the show when it caught the attention of the LFA. "I have a really good foundation of basics so I can get creative," O'Malley said. "I can go out and do the stuff I like to do. I am out there trying to win 100% and not necessarily trying to be exciting. It's just that a lot of the stuff I work on is exciting." O'Malley earned the spot on Dana White's Contender Series 2 when he took on Alfred Kashakian. O'Malley beat Kashakian with a stunning knockout in the first round and was awarded a UFC contract. O'Malley uses spin moves a lot, and this knockout seemed as if he'd throw a spinning back fist with his right hand, but it wasn't the hand. As he spun, he brought up his right foot and caught Nuzo with a kick to the face. Nuzo went down in a heap and the referee shoved O'Malley away and a legend was born. He admired the great boxer Roy Jones primarily for Jones's unpredictability. As he racked up the wins, O'Malley was showing plenty of unpredictability himself. He is long and lean and at 5'11" is extraordinarily tall for a bantamweight. From there, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt with a strong base in kickboxing has kept the hits and stoppages coming. Several UFC bonuses, including Fight of the Night and Performance of the Night, alongside spectacular wins against certified MMA icons, have made it clear that the hype just might be real. Sean O'Malley made his UFC debut at TUF 26 finale against Terrion Ware. O'Malley won the fight and then won on a 3-fight win streak before fighting Marlon Vera at UFC 252. O'Malley lost the fight against Marlon Vera in the first round via TKO, elbows and punches. After the fight, O'Malley got diagnosed with a dropped foot. Sean returned to UFC at 260 against Thomas Almeida. O'Malley outclassed Almeida and finished him in the third round. He next fought Chris Moutinho at UFC 264 and put on a striking masterclass to defeat Moutinho in the third round via TKO. O'Malley was scheduled to face Louis Smolka at UFC 264. However, Smolka pulled out of the fight in late June citing an injury, and he was replaced by promotional newcomer Chris Moutinho. He won the bout via TKO in round 3 after outstriking Moutinho with hard shots for all 3 rounds. This fight earned him the Fight of the Night award. O'Malley next faced Rolian Paiva at UFC 269. He won the fight via TKO in round 1. The win also earned O'Malley his 4th Performance of the Night bonus award. O'Malley is scheduled to face Pedro Munoz on July 2, 2022 at UFC 276 in one of his most high-profile matchups to date and believes victory would elevate him into the top 10. Talking about the fight, O'Malley said, "2 more finishes, early 2023, I'm fighting for the belt, whoever has it," he said on the MMA Hour. "I think after this fight, I go out there. I've got to finish Pedro and I go out there. Let's say I finish Pedro, I get a top 5 guy, whoever that is. Depending on if Chito gets a fight booked, I know that's a fight that I want." O'Malley's only professional defeat came against the Ecuadorian fighter having suffered a foot injury. The 27-year-old added, "I don't know if he's going to get a fight booked. I'm assuming. He seemed like he wants to fight again. If he goes out there and wins, that could be another fight, maybe December time frame. We'll see. I was kind of hoping Rob Font would win that fight because I wanted to fight Rob, but he didn't obviously. So yeah, I think Pedro. Depending on if Chito goes out there and beats someone in the top 5, he probably can get a title shot. If he doesn't end up getting a fight, I would like to finish Pedro and get that fight, and we'll see." For anybody sleeping on O'Malley or overlooking his clout inside the octagon, he's got a very clear message. "I think a lot of people in the division are underestimating me," O'Malley said. "I feel like they think I'm the hype train, but my whole life is dedicated to training, recovering, and doing it all again the next day. One thing's for sure, whatever Sugar does in his next fight, fans will be talking about it. And that's the best any fighter could wish for." Thank you for watching this video. That's all for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell.